You know, there's a lot of things in this country that we shouldn't just forget about. There's a lot of things in this country that we shouldn't just let go. And one of the things that we should never forget about, one of the things that we should never let go, is the fact that the Black Lives Matter riots were wholly unjustified, absolutely disgusting, and really showed how close our civilization is to being undermined, as one isolated incident out of the city of Minnesota led to the largest looting and rioting spree in American history. But one of the reasons why we should also not forget this is because post the Black Lives Matter riots, we saw a wave of soft-on-crime legislation being implemented nationwide. And one of the things that you might not be aware of is the fact that the looting never stopped, is the fact that essentially the civil rights protesting of stealing merchandise has been continuing. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because this trend is unbelievable. It does impact you. The videos are outrageous, and it is not getting the attention that it should be getting because it's impacting each and every person in America. And at a time with high inflation, you should really understand how soft on crime actually makes everything worse. But before we get into that, I just want to say, we don't have a sponsor. This video is brought to you by my patrons, by my Subscribestar peeps, and by those of you who signed up over at actualjusticewarrior.com/join. Thank you so much. Let's get into the video. So chances are, if you've been to a retailer in the United States of America in recent years, you've noticed more and more things being locked up, stranger and stranger things being locked up, and the fact that the shelves often are far more bare than they typically were. Now, a lot of left-wingers have gone on to say, I thought capitalism doesn't have empty grocery shelves and all that nonsense, but I assure you that is not the issue at hand. What we're dealing with in this country is the fact that we have a lot of soft-on-crime policies, and this has led to organized retail theft. Contrary to popular belief, contrary to what idiot left-wingers, who by the way would kill you if you took even a smidgen of their own property, actually say, what happens when we allow mass shoplifting is that everybody in the community suffers, and criminals end up profiting off of this, because in reality, these people are not just desperate, looking for food for their family. They're not Aladdin. They are thugs and criminals who are opportunistic, and they're taking advantage of a vulnerability in our system that we did not need to create.
Don't look for detergent on these grocery store shelves. There are none to grab. So you can't keep your Tide on the shelves anymore?
No, which is a big inconvenience for the customer and for the worker.
Now, retail theft is up. Nationwide, it is a huge problem. Depending on your location, the level of retail theft might be up significantly, and depending on your retailer, it might be up somewhere there's around 30%. And some of the stuff that is being targeted by these retail thieves is not bread for those sad kids in the movie Aladdin. It's non-perishable items like laundry detergent and paper towels. So chances are, if you're going to a store and you can't get your laundry detergent on the shelf, or masses of laundry detergent are missing, it's not because there's a sale that you didn't know about. It's because this is being stolen, so that way it can be sold on the black market for a profit. And some of these crimes are so brazen and so insane, I just have to play the video for you.
It's eye-popping video. A team of brazen shoplifters furiously tossing all these stolen items into getaway cars. It's like an episode of the TV show Supermarket Sweep, but this is no fun-filled game show. Bystanders can't believe what they're seeing. They stand there watching helplessly. You can hear one supermarket employee being told not to intervene.
Todd, don't! You're gonna get fired. That's why prices go up, because of these can't get a job like the rest of us.
So first of all, I absolutely hate this idea that you should not intervene if you work at a store, that we're just supposed to allow the thefts to go on as if they're acceptable. But I do love the guy giving the color commentary about what is going on right in front of him. And one of the things that he's pointing out is this is one of the reasons why you're paying higher prices. And it's absolutely true. Thefts get portioned out to other portions of the grocery store, and you, the consumer, not only have to struggle with finding the supplies that you need, but also pay the price for this in higher prices. So if you're an American who, I don't know, ever has to do laundry, you could thank the fact that we have soft on crime policies and organized retail theft like this as a consequence for you not being able to do laundry. And by the way, if you think this video is bad, if you think the loading of the detergent and the paper towels into this car is awful, it's about to get much, much worse because this is not just a one-off operation. In fact, there are 2 vehicles present at this scene of the crime at the same time, stealing the exact same thing.
Look, the gang of 4 filled their shopping carts with only paper towels and laundry detergent. Why? They're non-perishable items that can be easily sold on the black market.
Yeah, that's right. This is a team of 4 stealing all of this stuff in broad daylight in front of everybody, and nobody is allowed to do anything. Nobody at the store can actually stop it. People are filming. Somebody saying that they're going to call 911. We'll touch back on that a little bit later, but just to give you an idea of how insane and brazen theft has become and why this is happening, and the answer is it's because there are basically no consequences for this level of theft. Now, normally, this would be a grand larceny. People would be expected to go to jail for something like this. Normally, we have laws against shoplifting, and retailers have banded together so that they would prosecute these cases, because even though it costs more to put one shoplifter behind bars than typically they end up stealing, it sends a message, and the deterrent effect overall creates a more law-abiding society, and thus we end up spending less as a society than when we allow this to happen. And by the way, this reportedly is about $1,600 worth of stuff being looted from this store in broad daylight. And if you're wondering about this guy tossing the laundry detergent like crazy in his SUV, and as somebody who had an SUV before and spilled laundry detergent in the background, and you're thinking, well, we have some solace in the fact that he's going to stain up his carpet and that's going to ruin his time and it's going to cost him way more to fix that. Worry no more, because these cars are actually stolen.
Police say the SUVs are stolen. Notice the license plates have been removed.
Yeah, that's right. These thieves stole the vehicles that they used to execute the crime. So if you're one of those people who are like, oh, well, it's just a big box neighborhood grocery store, that's a corporation, and for some reason, I don't care if people who want to buy laundry detergent because they need to wash their clothes can actually find it at this store, or I don't care about the increased prices that everybody in the community has to pay. They also stole 2 vehicles in order to execute this crime. So there are victims all around. These criminals are not thieves with a heart of gold, just stealing from the rich so that they can get by. They're thugs, they're opportunistic, they're committing other ancillary crimes. And by the way, one of the reasons why the store employees would get fired for intervening is because these people are likely violent, likely to lash out with violence, as we've seen in other cases where people who try to stop shoplifters end up getting seriously injured or killed. We just did a story about an 84-year-old homeless man who came out to check a receipt as this guy was dashing out of the store. The guy pushed him with such force, he ended up killing this man after putting him in the hospital for 6 weeks, because that's who these people actually are. They are the dregs of our society, not the victims of our society, and I'm sick of people trying to give them breaks. And by the way, there's one more thing I also want to add for you guys out there in the audience.
The gang was highly organized. They hit this supermarket near New Haven, Connecticut at 6:40 in the morning when there were few customers. No one called 911. The raid wasn't even reported until 10 minutes after it was over. I watched the video with Connecticut State Police Sergeant John Akampora.
How could they get away with something like this?
Yeah, that's right. Somebody said call 911, but this is also a perfect example of the bystander effect. And by the way, if you guys are unaware of what the bystander effect is, you need to take notes about what I'm going to tell you right now. If you're ever in a situation where you need 911 called, do not say somebody call 911. Pick somebody out of the crowd and tell them to call 911. You need the social pressure, because if you say someone call 911, everyone's likely to assume that somebody else is calling 911. You have to identify somebody, ask them, and that way they're on the spot, so that way they comply. These guys were taking their sweet-ass time with these stolen vehicles, loading all of this product onto the cars, and guess what? They weren't caught because nobody called 911, despite the fact that you heard early on in the shoplifting process somebody say, call 911 to no one in particular. So these people are getting away with it. They're stealing cars in order to do so, and now we have to listen to the state trooper watch the video and us be like dumbfounded on how they didn't catch these guys. The reasons they didn't catch these guys is because there is no incentive for store employees to stop shoplifting because the stores just want to let it go. There's soft on crime policy, so even if they would have gotten arrested, which they would have deserved to get arrested, they would have been released the next day. And these people are targeting stores where they know that there's lax security and where they think they can get away with it. So all of these these things confound in order to hurt you, the consumer. And again, this is just one brazen video, but it's part of an overall trend of ongoing looting that we're seeing in our country, and it's intolerable.
We've seen disturbing video in the shoplifting epidemic sweeping America, but nothing like this. One angry eyewitness tossed a shopping cart in front of a getaway vehicle, but it bounced right off.
Now, I do appreciate the one guy trying to do something where he flings the shopping cart in front of the vehicle, but honestly, what I would appreciate a lot more is if somebody, and by the way, I'm not recommending this because this is risky behavior. As we talked about, these are violent thugs. They're criminals. They will hurt you if they think it gets them the smallest amount of gain, but I would love to see a successful video of these robberies being thwarted. I'm so tired of watching these people get away with this and everybody standing idle, but I understand the fact that there are consequences for intervening. In fact, in a Dollar General in another part of the country, there was a shoplifter that was caught by a store employee. He was pinned to the ground. Now, I can't show you the video of him being pinned to the ground because YouTube will deem that to be overwhelmingly violent, then give me an age restriction, but his friends actually smashed the windows of this Dollar General in order to get their shoplifting buddy out of the store.
Let me go. Bust the window. Let me go. People don't worry about me. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just going to my sister. Let me go. They touch. Let me go. Hey, come get me.
I'm so sick of these criminals setting themselves up like this, basically operating unimpeded. It's disgusting, and it should disgust you. Now, you might say, I don't go to a Dollar General. I don't ever do laundry ever. How does this impact me if laundry detergent has to be locked up along with medicine, along with toothpaste, along with hair products, along with everything, depending on what people are looting in your area? But a lot of you, not all, some of you I'm sure are vegan, actually eat meat. So let's talk about the fact that meat is often targeted by these organized retail thefts. Let's go to some video so you can see how absurd and how insane this is actually getting.
And caught on video, a woman throwing more than $2,000 worth of meat into the trunk of her car. Temple police say she stole the meat from an H-E-B in the area on Good Friday. Police say an employee tried to stop the woman and her accomplice from leaving. The two, they're still on the run. Police are hoping this cell phone video will help them make an arrest soon.
So a couple of things about this video. First and foremost, she was stealing meat on Good Friday. That is just unholy. That is just disgusting. I am ashamed of this woman. You all know you're not supposed to eat meat on Good Friday. Second of all, I do have to point out and I do have to observe the fact that there is an employee trying to intervene with this situation. However, this employee is one of the least useful human beings I've ever seen ever try to execute an operation like this. First and foremost, put your phone down. I guarantee you that close angle is not going to be all that useful in revealing the fact that this was a crime later. On top of that, we're watching the video from another perspective. So there are two people out there trying to catch video of the crime, one person trying to deter it with one hand very unsuccessfully, while also trying to film this crime. This really bothers me. This really annoys me. It should really annoy you, but of course, we're watching this woman ineffectively try to guard the bucket. I got news for you. It's not about getting the shopping cart away from her. It's about screening the box, preventing her from being able to throw this stuff in the trunk, and you're woefully ineffective in your operation. On top of that, I'm sorry, but if I'm working at a store, and again, I'm not advocating for action can lead to you getting injured, whatever, but if I'm working at a store, and you're loading up a car with a bunch of shoplifted goods, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to take a pocket knife and slash your tires. I'm just going to stick it right in there, pull it out, go into the store, and be like, well, you're not going to change a tire, hopefully, before the police come. That is something that you can do to deter this situation. And if you don't want your tire slashed, you know what? Don't steal $2,000 worth of merchandise. Don't expect me to respect your getaway vehicle when you're looting all of the meat from this store. And again, the price of meat up through the roof. A lot of people point out that part of that is in fact inflation, but these people are stealing premium cuts of meat. She's not doing a barbecue, she's doing it to sell it later, all because she feels more entitled to do so, and she thinks that you're a sucker for going out and paying for it. Now, luckily, they caught this woman, and we can name and shame this woman, which is what I'm going to do right about now.
And an arrest has been made in the H-E-B meat market theft. Police arrested 40-year-old Marcia Brooks this morning. She faces multiple counts of theft. The video of the incident went viral on social media, showing a woman believed to be Brooks throwing thousands of dollars of meat into the trunk of a car on Good Friday. She remains in the Bell County Jail on a $2,000 bond.
40 years old, stealing thousands of dollars worth of meat on Good Friday in broad daylight. Absolutely disgusting. And I know somebody's going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe she was just trying to feed all her kids on all that meat. Maybe her son's birthday was happening and she wanted to do a barbecue, but she didn't want to pay for what was needed for the barbecue. Maybe she's just Aladdin. But again, this is not the only instance of mass meat theft.
Closely as you see this man entering the tropical supermarket. It is around 1 in the afternoon last Sunday, and West Miami police say he heads immediately to where the meat is, loading his backpack with items in front of customers. And then he is seen through another camera angle walking out. Then, just after noon on Wednesday, police say he returns wearing a white cap and does the same thing and leaves his store on Southwest 8th Street.
Again, such a brazen robbery. These people aren't even concerned about concealing their face. They know that consequences aren't going to actually be levied against them. That's why they're just coming in time after time, stealing whatever they want and getting away with it. And by the way, this was mentioned in the news article, so I just want to play it for you guys out there in the audience, because for some reason, the detective has to address whether or not this person was stealing $800 worth of meat over the course of 2 days in order to feed his family.
The detective says that this thief was not doing this to feed his family, that he was doing this to make money.
Now again, while I am showing you individual instances and individual videos, it is really important for you to understand that what I'm describing is a trend, not a few isolated instances. The videos are representative of what's going on in this country. And a lot of people will say that reported thefts are up in this country, but that is not the best metric, because as we know, all these retailers actually are at risk of losing their insurance the more thefts that they report. So thefts are often underreported by the retailers, and the real metric of what's going on in the supermarket is how many things have to be removed from the shelves, how many things are locked up, because all these big retailers use computerized systems to determine what's being sold and how much it's needed, and predictive algorithms and all of that. And when they experience high levels of theft, they then send out guarded displays for those items. So we talked about some of the meat thefts. I showed you some video of that, but let's look at the response to the meat thefts that you're seeing.
Want aspirin? The cashier has to unlock the glass case to grab the medicine. Thieves are also targeting ice cream and meat. Who could forget the guy allegedly stealing all those steaks at a Trader Joe's in Manhattan?
Walmart now has the steak locked up.
Yeah, that's right. If you go into certain Walmarts in this country, certain grocery stores, they actually have locked up their steaks because, you know, these people who are totally just Aladdin, who are totally just stealing food to feed their family, have a very picky, starving family, and that very picky, starving family either wants a New York strip, they want a filet mignon, or maybe they want the ribeyes. I'm all about the ribeyes. If I was starving to death, I would definitely want Aladdin to go out and steal me a ribeye for myself, because obviously beggars can be choosers, according to the woke left on the internet.com. By the way, I also want to break up some of my anger with some of the ridiculousness of news segments, so I'm going to show you this clip and we're going to laugh at it.
People are taking this and putting it in their purse, just like that.
And walking right out.
Now look, I've made remarks about people's intelligence. I've gone after certain people that I think are quite stupid, but never have I ever talked down to my audience in the way that this Inside Edition lady just did. She's like, what they're actually doing, and she needed to demonstrate this, is taking stuff off the shelf and putting it in their bag. And then the guy's like, and then they walk out the store. As if you needed shoplifting to be described to you because it's such an alien concept that you needed a visual audio demonstration for it for you to understand. Look, I'm tired of this. It's unacceptable, and we need to do something about it as a country. We need to once again have retailers and state legislatures get together and say that they're not going to stand for this, because everybody's paying higher prices. Everybody's dealing with the shortages. People are getting hurt because of the black markets and all the money that's involved in this situation, and it's not right. It doesn't have to be this way. It wasn't this way before, so let's fight back against it. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on all my social media, support me via the support links. Till next time.